You like that, Agent?
Somebody got a... Setting up my turret. I got him.
Hello guys, welcome back to another Division 2 video. So in today's video, I'm going to break down a striker tank build for PvE that's extremely viable for solo players. It's very powerful and you're going to find it very easy to clear heroic content. So bounties, control points, resource convoys, and all that other jazz. Having this much survivability while still being able to deal out a great amount of weapon damage makes this a great build to use for legendary content as well. Also, if you're wondering how and where I'm getting all this bonus armor, I'll touch on that and explain how that works later in the video. I'm sure you guys are gonna love this. And if you enjoy playing solo, then this should be an ideal build for you. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the breakdown of this build and I'll briefly go over some of the cons. So this is a 4-piece striker build. I know, big surprise, right? And as many as you already know how striker works, I'll just briefly sum it up for those who are new. So you will basically get a 15% weapon handling increase for having 2 pieces, 15% rate of fire for 3 pieces, and 4 pieces unlocks the Striker's Gamble talent. And the Striker's Gamble talent is truly what makes Striker the heavyweight champion as far as DPS. So briefly, for those who are new, the Striker's Gamble talent will basically allow you to build stacks. So each weapon hit will give you a stack of 0.65% weapon damage, maxing out at 100 stacks. However, stacks will decay over time. So I'm going to show you guys the gear pieces and mods in a sec, but for the primary weapon, I'm using the Chameleon. And the Chameleon is an interesting weapon. Sometimes it can deal out a crazy amount of damage and other times it's just average. But I decided to use the Chameleon mainly because of how effective the weapon talent is, and it also works hand in hand with Striker as well. But the weapon talent is insane. So if you take a look at the talent Adaptive Instincts, hitting 75 body shots will grant you 90% weapon damage for 45 seconds, which is crazy. Like, that's a lot of weapon damage. And you can actually feel the increase in weapon damage right away. And on top of that, hitting 30 headshots grants 20% critical hit chance and 50% critical hit damage for 45 seconds. And when you factor in the Striker's Gamble talent with that, it takes the damage to another level. And I'm pretty sure these buffs stack, but if not, let me know in the comment section. But you also get 150% reload speed for landing leg shots for 45 seconds as well, but compared to the body shot and headshot buff you get, this isn't really a big deal. For the secondary weapon, I recommend using the ACS-12 shotgun if you have one, or the named ACS-12 shotgun, which is even better, the rock and roll. And for the weapon specialization, I went with Gunner for the passive talent Incessant, which gives you 10% armor on kill. This helps out a bit with survivability, especially when combined with the Perfect Bloodsucker talent. Perfect Bloodsucker will give you 12% bonus armor for 10 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. So this talent is very similar to the exotic Memento bag, except it will only provide you with bonus armor and no weapon damage buff, unlike the Memento bag. And in fact, the Memento bag makes an excellent alternative, so if you have it, then I recommend using it. But the only problem with the Memento bag is having to collect trophies to build your stacks as opposed to Bloodsucker. Like with Bloodsucker, you can remain safe in cover and not have to worry about walking around collecting trophies to build stacks, which may not be all too convenient in the middle of a legendary mission, right? So the Perfect Bloodsucker talent only comes with the named Bellstone backpack, Liquid Engineer. So if you have this backpack, then I recommend using this. If not, then you can just get a Walker Harris bag and roll Bloodsucker on it. Walker Harris is a good alternative because one piece will give you 5% weapon damage, but I like using this named Bellstone bag not just for the perfect Bloodsucker, but because I get 1% armor regen, which helps out with my overall survivability. And it's only like a 2% difference? Let me see. Yeah, so the regular Bloodsucker gives you 10% bonus armor while perfect gives you 12. Not a big deal. One thing I like about Bloodsucker is that the stacks refresh upon a kill, so this can help prolong and maintain a nice stack of bonus armor from time to time. For the chest piece, I'm using a Fenris Group AB vest for the 10% assault rifle damage rolled with the talent Obliterate. Obliterate is really nice because critical hits will increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds. Stacking up to 20 times. It actually used to be 25 times but got nerfed to 20, but it's still a great talent. So just imagine that added to the 90% weapon damage buff you get from the Chameleon, as well as the 65% weapon damage buff from a full striker stack. Yeah, insane damage. I'm going to show you guys the stats in a sec, but for the gear pieces, I have critical hit damage rolled on all of my pieces, except for the holster, which has critical hit chance, and the backpack, which has headshot damage. Ideally, you want to have either critical hit chance or damage rather than headshot damage. And honestly, if I could, I would re-roll headshot damage to critical hit chance. Because, wait, let me see. Okay, yeah. So that would bring my critical hit chance to 54% if I had critical hit chance rolled here instead of headshot damage. Oh, wait, my bad. I already have critical hit chance rolled here. Sorry, I meant critical hit damage, but I'm sure you guys get what I mean. If this was critical hit damage instead of headshot damage, it would be ideal, is the point I was trying to make. So, anywhere from 40 and up is great to have because remember, landing 30 headshots will grant you 20% critical hit chance and 50% critical hit damage from the Chameleon's weapon talent, right? So as of now, my critical hit chance is 49% and the critical hit damage is at 117%. For the skills, I'm using the Crusader Ballistic Shield for extra survivability and the Decoy to distract NPCs, but feel free to replace these with a Reviver Hive or anything that fits your playstyle better. In fact, if you're playing solo, it would be best to go with a Reviver Hive. I like to swap out the Decoy when I'm running anything other than legendary missions. The Decoy helps me move from cover to cover safely by distracting the NPCs, but if you're fairly new or like to play solo on heroic difficulty, then I highly recommend using a Reviver Hive if you're solo or a Ballistic Shield for an increased survivability. Now, one of the major cons with the Chameleon is the accuracy. I'm not gonna lie, the accuracy on this weapon is terrible, but using a Booster Hive may help. So let me show you what I mean. So as I'm firing the Chameleon, you see that white dot in the middle of the crosshair? It has a wide range of motion, right? Well, just in case some of you didn't know, the degree to how wide the motion of this white dot is will determine how bad the accuracy of the weapon is. So in the Chameleon's case, you can see that this white dot is all over the place, right? And that's because the accuracy is very low. But let's compare that to a weapon with much better accuracy. So the Honey Badger, for example. Now I'll just fire the weapon. So you see how much more narrow the range of motion is? So yeah, I just wanted to shed some light on that in case anyone didn't know. There you have it, guys. This is Prajna. I hope you found this video helpful. If so, don't forget to leave a like and consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. Stay tuned for more build videos, and to all the channel members, I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and see you in the next video. Peace out.